As the Green Bay Packers open their organized team activities, or OTAs, the biggest question on everyone's mind is what the offensive line is going to look like this season. It's something that may not be fully revealed until the Packers are ready to take the field in a real game situation. Right now, in these early days of the offseason, there's a lot of speculation and experimenting, but not many clear answers. What we do know is that the Packers are already on the practice field, running drills, working through plays, and trying to figure out where everyone fits on this offensive line. For fans who follow the team closely, especially through shows like Locked on Packers, the #1 Packers podcast on the internet, where I, Peter Bukowski, cover the team daily. These OTAs mark the beginning of a new chapter, filled with questions and possibilities. One thing is for sure, the offensive line is going to be a major storyline to watch. Without Elton Jenkins, who was a key player last year, the Packers are trying out different options across the line. Jacob Monk and Sean Ryan have both taken snaps at center, trying to see who fits best in that critical position. Jordan Morgan, who has some experience across the line, has been spotted working at right guard with the first team offense, but also getting reps at left tackle with the second team group. Anthony Belton has been working at right tackle with the second team players as well. It's a bit of a jigsaw puzzle in progress, and the coaching staff is moving pieces around to find the best combination. Looking ahead, there are deeper questions about where this offensive line is headed, not just for this season, but for the future. Will Rasheed Walker and Sean Ryan develop into the long-term answers at tackle or guard? Are the young players like Jordan Morgan or Anthony Belton poised to take significant steps forward? For now, the practice reps are exploratory, and it's important not to read too much into a single day's observations. For example, Jordan Morgan spent much of last year's camp at right guard before bouncing around different positions in OTAs and training camp. Ultimately, it seemed he settled into that guard spot, and that might be his best path this year. But it's clear the Packers want to give him every opportunity to compete, even at tackle if needed. That brings up a tantalizing thought. What if Jordan Morgan's true position is right guard and the Packers' future at tackle lies elsewhere? Anthony Belton, currently working at right tackle, has yet to see snaps at guard. He's built more like a prototypical right tackle. Big, physical, imposing, which fits the traditional mold of that position, especially in schemes that favor running plays to the right side. Meanwhile, Zach Tom stands out because he has the body type of a left tackle, which historically is the premier pass-protecting position on the line. With a right-handed quarterback like Aaron Rodgers was, protecting the blind side is a critical job, and the left tackle is often the best pass blocker on the line. Zach Tom fits that mold physically and has always been seen as a potential left tackle of the future. When putting together the two best tackles on the Packers roster, it's tempting to see Anthony Belton on the right side and Zach Tom on the left. Jordan Morgan might not project as an NFL tackle long-term, but could be a very strong guard. Mike Renner, a well-respected analyst who was recently on the show, even called Jordan Morgan a potential Pro Bowl or All-Pro level guard in the making, a player who could become elite inside. That aligns with what I think as well. Jordan Morgan's skill set and size seem better suited for the interior line, and that could be where he ultimately thrives. This creates an intriguing possibility for the Packers to experiment with an offensive line. What if they sign Zach Tom as a right tackle for now, letting him continue to develop while giving him the opportunity to transition to left tackle in the future? That would be a smart move, especially if Zach Tom is the player they hope he can become. This sort of move would add value long term, giving the Packers flexibility in how they use their young offensive linemen. However, Zach Tom had a bit of a setback in 2024 due to injury, a torn pec muscle that affected his confidence in his hand and arm strength. Critical tools for an elite offensive lineman. Being able to use your hands independently and effectively to punch and control defenders is a hallmark of top-level pass blockers. If Zach Tom can regain full confidence and health, he could deliver a strong season. Envisioning a line where Elton Jenkins is the center, surrounded by Aaron Banks, Jordan Morgan, Anthony Belton, and Zach Tom, this could be an elite unit, potentially rivaling other top lines in the league like Philadelphia's or Detroit's. While there's no guarantee of a big leap from veterans like Sean Ryan or Rasheed Walker, Jordan Morgan's upside as a guard and the athleticism of Belton and Tom at tackle give the Packers a lot of exciting options. There's also the question of positional flexibility. Belton could theoretically slide inside to guard if needed, while Morgan might be asked to fill in at tackle in certain situations. But the coaching staff will be looking to put everyone in their best spot to maximize performance. We've already seen Sean Ryan outperform Morgan in camp at times, but the Packers seem willing to give Morgan every chance to compete, possibly because they have a high draft capital invested in him and believe in his potential. The offseason and preseason will be crucial for these players to prove themselves, and it might be that Morgan and Belton get more snaps during preseason games, which could help the team decide on the final lineup as this competition plays out. On the offensive line, a similar kind of puzzle is developing on the defensive side in the secondary, particularly at safety and nickel corner. Javon Bullard's role is a hot topic, especially with questions around Evan Williams and the potential return of Jarrell Alexander. If Alexander returns as expected, that shakes up the whole secondary alignment. With Alexander back, the Packers could lean on Nate Hobbs and Alexander as their outside cornerbacks, while Bullard would likely slot in as the nickel defender. But if Alexander doesn't return, then Bullard could see himself starting alongside Xavier McKinney as a safety. The team's flexibility in the secondary is a double-edged sword. On one hand, having players who can play multiple positions gives the coaches more options. On the other, it raises questions about whether this versatility could lead to a lack of mastery at any single position. The Packers have depth at corner and safety now that they didn't have last year, but it's still uncertain how they will prioritize these players in terms of reps and starting roles. Javon Bullard is clearly a talented player, and it would be surprising if he isn't part of the best defensive lineup when the season starts. However, with Nate Hobbs also able to play nickel corner and Keshawn Nixon showing promise at boundary corner, the Packers have a crowded group competing for playing time. Nixon's emergence as a reliable outside corner last season adds an intriguing wrinkle. While Bullard may have more upside as a nickel corner, Nixon's performance makes it harder to just slot players into roles based solely on previous experience or expectations. The uncertainty is compounded by the fact that Jarrell Alexander has historically missed games due to injury, which could limit how much he contributes in 2025 even if he is on the roster. Javon Bullard's development has been marked by position changes, from safety to nickel corner and back, which makes it harder for him to settle into a rhythm and fully grow into a single role. All of this means that training camp is going to be a real battle for spots, not just in terms of raw talent, but in terms of coaching philosophy and how the Packers want to deploy their defensive backfield. If they believe in a more traditional nickel corner role, Bullard might get the nod. If they want to run more big nickel or dime packages with different personnel groupings, players like Hobbs and Nixon might see more snaps. Ultimately, the Packers want to put the best 11 players on the field, regardless of their ideal positions. But these overlapping skill sets and positional versatility mean that the coaches will have to make tough decisions. There's also the hope that the competition itself drives all these players to improve. Evan Williams, Javon Bullard, and Keshawn Nixon all have to take steps forward for the secondary to reach its potential. Keshawn Nixon's story is particularly inspiring. He has gone from a special teams player to a full-time starter on defense, showing that hard work and opportunity can change a player's trajectory. If he can continue that progression and become a reliable boundary corner, it would be a huge win for the Packers. It's the kind of player development story that fans love, and that helps the team build depth without always needing to chase expensive free agents. In conclusion, this early OTA days are full of questions, but also promise. The Packers' offensive line could shape up to be a strength if the young players step up and the veterans maintain their health and form. Meanwhile, the secondary has the flexibility and talent to become a strong unit, but it will require clear decisions and possibly some patience as players settle into their best roles. Fans and analysts alike will be watching closely as training camp approaches, waiting to see how these puzzles start to come together on the practice field and in preseason games. For now, the story of the Packers offseason is still being written. And every rep, every snap counts in shaping the future of this team. As the Packers continue through OTAs and look ahead toward training camp, attention inevitably turns to the offense's skill positions, where consistency and playmaking ability will be key for a successful season. Aaron Rodgers, who has been the face of the franchise for years, remains a pivotal figure, but the supporting cast around him will determine how effective the offense truly becomes. The quarterback's ability to distribute the ball quickly and accurately depends heavily on the receiver's ability to create separation and make tough catches in traffic. There's a fine balance between having a strong offensive line and a receiving core capable of turning short and intermediate throws into big gains. The wide receiver room has seen some changes, with a mix of veteran presence and youthful energy. This blend could serve the team well if the newcomers adapt quickly to the pace and complexity of the NFL. The Packers have made efforts to bring in players who can stretch the field vertically, as well as those who excel at running precise routes in the short passing game. Speed is valuable, but route running and the ability to read defenses will be equally important for this group. When receivers can find soft spots in coverage and adjust their routes on the fly, it gives the quarterback more windows to work with, which is critical in high-pressure situations. Tight ends have also emerged as a focal point for the offense. The position is evolving across the league, with many teams relying on tight ends not just for blocking, but as significant receiving threats. The Packers have some intriguing options here, who combine size, athleticism, and hands. If the coaching staff can unlock their potential, these players could become safety valves for Rodgers, especially on third downs or in the red zone. Having multiple reliable targets forces defenses to spread their focus, which can open things up for both the run game and deeper passing routes. Tight ends who can block effectively while also threatening to break open on pass plays create a strategic advantage that can't be overlooked. The running back position is another piece of the offensive puzzle that warrants attention. While the Packers have historically relied on a committee approach, having a lead back who can consistently gain yards between the tackles is invaluable. Vision, patience, and the ability to break tackles are traits the coaching staff will be looking for in whoever earns the bulk of the carries. Pass protection is also an increasingly critical skill for running backs in today's NFL, as they must be able to identify blitzes and hold up against linebackers or defensive ends rushing the passer. A versatile back who can contribute as a receiver out of the backfield adds even more value and creates more options for the offense to stay unpredictable. The chemistry between the quarterback and his skill players can't be understated. Timing routes and anticipation develop over weeks of practice and game experience, and having a consistent group helps accelerate that process. Continuity on offense often translates into fewer mistakes and better execution in critical moments. That's why training camp and preseason games are so crucial. They give these players the chance to build trust with each other and the quarterback. The best offenses in the league are often those that can operate smoothly without forcing plays, reacting naturally to what defenses give them instead of relying on improvisation. Special teams, while sometimes overlooked, will also play a vital role in the Packers' overall success. Field position battles often come down to the quality of punt and kickoff coverage, as well as the ability of the returners to create big plays. A single return touchdown or a key blocked punt can swing momentum dramatically in a close game. The Packers coaches understand this and invest time in developing these units. Young players often get their first real opportunities to impress through special teams, and this can be a pathway to earning more snaps on offense or defense. In addition to on-field performance, leadership within the locker room will shape the team's identity. Veterans are expected to mentor younger players, setting standards for work ethic and professionalism. This guidance helps rookies and second-year players adjust to the demands of the NFL lifestyle, both physically and mentally. It's a long season, and having a cohesive locker room can be the difference between a team that folds under pressure and one that finds ways to win close games. Looking ahead, the coaching staff's ability to integrate new players, develop young talent, and adapt game plans week to week will be tested. Football is a constantly evolving sport, with defenses scheming to disrupt offenses' strengths. Creativity in play calling and flexibility in personnel groupings allow teams to stay ahead of opponents. The Packers staff must harness all these elements to maximize the roster's potential. As the calendar moves closer to the start of the regular season, every practice, meeting, and walkthrough takes on greater significance. The margin between success and failure in the NFL is often razor thin, and preparation is the key to gaining any possible edge. The players who make the most of these opportunities will be the ones who contribute when the lights shine brightest. For Packers fans, the excitement builds with each step forward as the team seeks to return to contention and recapture the glory of past seasons. The journey from OTAs to opening kickoff is a long one, but with hard work and smart decisions, this group has the tools to surprise and inspire. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Green Bay Packers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In what could become one of the most talked about moves of the offseason, rumors are swirling that JAYLEN WADDLE, the dynamic wide receiver known for his blazing speed and explosive playmaking ability, is on the verge of signing with the Green Bay Packers. Although nothing has been officially confirmed, sources close to the situation suggest that negotiations are well underway, and the Packers might soon secure one of the NFL's most electrifying offensive talents. JAYLEN WADDLE has been a standout since entering the league, dazzling fans and analysts alike with his ability to change the course of a game in a matter of seconds. His agility, combined with a natural flair for finding open spaces, has made him a nightmare for defenses across the league. For the Packers, a team that has long sought to bolster its receiving core with a true game-changer, Waddle's arrival would represent a significant boost to their offensive arsenal. Green Bay's passing attack has shown flashes of brilliance, but has often struggled with consistency, especially in recent years. The potential acquisition of Waddle could inject much-needed speed and versatility into their offense, giving quarterback Aaron Rodgers, or whoever may be leading the team, the kind of dynamic target that can stretch defenses vertically and create mismatches all over the field. Waddle's ability to line up both as a traditional wideout and in the slot would offer the Packers more creative play-calling options, increasing their offensive unpredictability. While the Packers have remained tight-lipped, the buzz around the NFL community is palpable. Fans and analysts are already speculating how Waddle's style of play would fit into Green Bay's scheme. Many believe his addition could mark the beginning of a new era for the Packers' offense, possibly returning the team to its dominant form from years past. The timing also seems ideal, as the Packers appear eager to retool and improve around their core players. However, there are still questions to be answered. How will Waddle adapt to the Packers system? What kind of contract could he be looking at? And how will it impact the team's salary cap? And of course, the biggest question remains whether this rumored deal will come to fruition or simply remain a tantalizing what if. Until official announcements are made, all we have is speculation. But the excitement around this potential signing is undeniable. If JAYLEN WADDLE does indeed join Green Bay, it could signal a seismic shift in the NFL landscape. The Packers would not only gain a formidable offensive weapon, but also send a message to their rivals that they are serious contenders once again. For now, fans can only watch and wait, eager to see if this sizzling rumor will turn into one of the biggest signings of the year. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Green Bay Packers, please subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.